Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. So this is continuation of Antya-Lila Chapter 2. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Accompanied by his devotees, Lord Chaitanya happily wandering in that city, looking at many Shiva lingas. In one very secluded temple, Lord Chaitanya gazed at the linga and became very happy. Lord Chaitanya saw every temple in that city. Then the Lord happily continued his journey on the road. Next he came to Kamalapur. From afar, seeing the Jagannath temple flag, the Lord became plunged in an ocean of bliss. The wonderful, indescribable Lord loudly roared, his entire body trembling. He looked and looked in the direction of the temple. As he walked, the Lord recited a verse. In this way, the Lord Chaitanya enjoyed pastimes. Please attentively hear half the verse that came from his graceful mouth. The Lord said, "Standing before the temple, a smiling Gopa boy with a lotus face gazes at me." The Lord said, "Look, in the front of the temple, a smiling Gopa boy gazes at me." Again and again, repeating this verse, Lord Chaitanya became agitated. Even Lord Ananta Shesh, with his many tongues, cannot describe how Lord Chaitanya bitterly wept on that day. The Lord would gaze at the temple's chakra and recite this verse and then fall to the ground. In this way, he offered Dandavata obeisances again and again. The whole time he traveled on the path, he manifested pure ecstatic love in this way. Therefore I say, he is spiritual love personified, descended to this world. Only Lord Chaitanya, no one else, has the power to act as he did. Seeing him, the pious people on the path said, "He must be Lord Narayan himself." Surrounding him in the four directions, the devotees found their eyes flooded with tears of bliss. Everyone else took an hour and a half to travel that part of the road. Overcome with ecstatic love, Lord Chaitanya took 9 hours to travel it. Coming to the town of Ataranal, Lord Chaitanya stopped his ecstasy. Becoming peaceful, the Lord sat down with his companions and humbly said to them, "You've been good friends to me. You brought me to see Lord Jagannath. Will you go ahead to see him, or should I go ahead? You tell me." Kunda answered, "You go ahead." Saying, "Good," Lord Chaitanya went ahead. His walking defeating the movements of wild lions, Lord Chaitanya quickly entered the city of Jagannath Puri. Anyone who hears of Lord Chaitanya's entrance into Jagannath Puri will find himself floating in a stream of ecstatic love. By the Lord's will, at that moment, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had also eagerly come to see Lord Jagannath. At that moment, Lord Chaitanya, who is the life of all the worlds, gazed at Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram, and Lady Subhadra. Gazing at them, Lord Chaitanya loudly roared. He yearned to embrace them. Agitated with bliss, Lord Chaitanya leaped again and again, tears flowing in the four directions from his eyes. Within a moment he fell to the ground, fainting in ecstasy. Who understands the Lord's fathomless nature? The foolish guards stood up to beat the Lord. In the commotion, Sarvabhauma threw himself across the Lord's back. In his heart, saintly Sarvabhauma thought, "A mere human being never has power like that. His roaring and his flooding stream of tears show power beyond what is possible in the material world. I think this person may be Shri Krishna Chaitanya." Fortunate Sarvabhauma thought in this way. Stopped by Sarvabhauma, the guards stood back, afraid. Simply by seeing Lord Jagannath and his dear associates, Lord Chaitanya fainted. Into what bliss was the king of Vaikuntha plunged? Even the Vedas personified find it difficult to know. In the forms of his Chaturvyuha expansions, it was Lord Chaitanya himself who happily sat on the altar. The same Lord had now become a worshipper filled with devotion to the Lord. Who can understand the Lord's power? Still, Lord Chaitanya knows the truth about himself. All this is explained in the Vedas and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord manifested these pastimes to deliver the conditioned souls. This the Vedas declare. Lord Chaitanya was then plunged in the ecstasy of Vaishnava feels. He swam in an ocean of ecstatic love. External consciousness was far away. Sarvabhauma protected the Lord. He did not break the Lord's ecstatic swoon. Finally, Sarvabhauma thought in his heart, I should bring the Lord to my home. Sarvabhauma said, Guards, brothers, pick up this jewel of men. The servants who carry Lord Jagannath during the Panda Vijaya ceremony then picked up Lord Chaitanya and carried him. Who can understand the Lord's pastimes? In this way, the Lord went to Sarvabhauma's home. As the Lord was carried, jubilant shouts of Hari, Hari filled the four directions. In that moment, the Lord's associates arrived at the Sringajvara gate. With joyful hearts, they met the Lord. And filled with wonder, everyone gazed at the Lord. They all carried him, passing him from one to another, as a line of ants carries a grain of rice. In this way, many persons carried the Lord, and everyone was filled with bliss. At the Sringajvara gate, the Lord's associates bowed down before him, and they happily followed the Lord. In this way, everyone carried the Lord to Sarvabhauma's home. The Lord was carried in, but the doors were closed to everyone else. In this way, the Lord's associates met the Lord again. With a happy heart, Sarvabhauma gazed at the Lord's associates. He spoke properly and politely with them, and they sat down. They broke apart all his doubts. Saintly Sarvabhauma became very happy. Who was more fortunate than him? All the Vedas declare his glories. The Supreme Personality of Godhead spontaneously came to his home. Saintly Sarvabhauma gazed at Lord Nityananda and then humbly touched the dust of his feet. Going with some men Sarvabhauma gave them, the Lord's associates went to see Lord Jagannath. The men who were to show them Lord Jagannath then folded their hands and appealed to the Lord's associates. Please be peaceful when you see Lord Jagannath. Please don't do what your master did. We do not know what kind of persons you are. Please be peaceful when you see Lord Jagannath. Only then will we take you to him. Only one of your group came before, and it is fortunate that somehow Lord Jagannath is still on his throne. Why must we say anything more? You yourself saw it. Is it possible that any other person could have fallen like that and kept the life within his body? The descriptions we heard were all beyond our understanding. Therefore, please be merciful when you see Lord Jagannath. This we beg you. Hearing this, the devotee smiled and said, Don't worry. Then they all went. Entering the temple, the joyful devotees gazed at Chaturvyuha, Lord Jagannath. Gazing at Lord Jagannath, everyone wept. They offered Dandavata obeisances, circumambulated, and recited prayers. The Brahmin priest took garlands from the Lord's neck and happily placed them around the devotees' necks. Accepting the Lord's garlands with happy hearts, they quickly returned to Sarvabhauma's home. Meanwhile, Lord Chaitanya was still unconscious in ecstasy. He did not manifest even a single sesame seed's worth of external consciousness. Sarvabhauma sat at the Lord's feet. In the four directions, the devotees chanted, Rama, Krishna. Lord Chaitanya's nature and pastimes are all inconceivable. For 9 hours he did not manifest external consciousness. Then he who is the life of the worlds became conscious, and the devotees called out, Hari. Now peaceful, the Lord asked everyone, What happened to me today? You saw it, please tell me. Finally, Nityananda told the Lord, Simply by seeing Lord Jagannath, you fell unconscious. By divine arrangement, Sarvabhauma was there. He picked you up and brought you to his home. Overcome with ecstasy, you did not manifest external consciousness for 9 hours today. This person bowing down before you is Sarvabhauma. Lord Chaitanya at once embraced Sarvabhauma. The Lord said, Lord Jagannath is very merciful. He brought me to Sarvabhauma's home. In my heart, I wondered how I would meet you. Now, Lord Krishna has easily fulfilled my desire. Speaking these words, Lord Chaitanya glanced at Sarvabhauma and smiled. The Lord said, Please hear the story of what happened to me today. Today I approached Lord Jagannath, and I gazed upon him. Gazing at Lord Jagannath in my heart, I yearned to embrace him, holding him to my chest. I was about to embrace Lord Jagannath. After that, I do not know what happened. By the Lord's will, Sarvabhauma was there today. He protected me from a great danger. I vow that from today on I will only gaze at Lord Jagannath from outside. I will not enter inside. Staying behind the Garuda Stamba, I will gaze at the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am fortunate today I did not embrace Lord Jagannath. A great calamity would have fallen on me. Then Nityananda said, "You avoided a great calamity. It is no longer daytime. You should bathe at once." Lord Chaitanya said, "Nityananda, you should always protect me. I place my body in your care." After spending a few moments bathing, Lord Chaitanya, his face smiling with ecstatic love, sat down with everyone. Then Sarvabhauma quickly brought many kinds of Mahaprasad and placed them all before Lord Chaitanya. Bowing down before the Mahaprasad, Lord Chaitanya sat down to eat with his associates. The Lord said, "Give me a big portion of mixed vegetables. Give the ladus and nectar drinks to the others." After speaking these words, Lord Chaitanya, now tasting the nectar of ecstatic love, ate mixed vegetables as all the devotees smiled. Sarvabhauma had been the Lord's personal associate birth after birth. If that were not so, he could not have attained this good fortune. Then Sarvabhauma brought rice on a golden plate and placed it before the Lord, and the Lord ate. In the future, Vedavyas will describe the pastimes of ecstatic love Lord Chaitanya enjoyed as he honored prasad. After enjoying endless bliss in his pastime of honoring prasadam, Lord Chaitanya sat down, his associates around him on four sides. Anyone who hears these descriptions of the Lord enjoying happy pastimes of honoring prasad at Jagannath Puri will attain Lord Chaitanya's association. In this chapter of Antya-Lila, Lord Chaitanya goes to Jagannath Puri. Anyone who hears these pastimes will swim in a stream of ecstatic love. The two moons, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Nityananda, my life and soul, I Vrndavana, sing the glories of their feet.